Alrighty then, we're going to continue with the reassembly of Grant's pocket watch, not Wayne 2's pocket watch. Thanks, Wayne, for mentioning it. I'm just so busy I get confused. So, but I wasn't going to ship you this watch anyway, because Grant needs this watch badly. Anyway, I was lucky to find the right jewel setting and jewel for this, for the pallet fork. It seems to fit on both sides. At the end of the day, we'll see if the thing runs. If it doesn't run, then I just dive into that problem next. But we're going to just reassemble this. I still have one more jewel to take out and clean and oil, and that's it for the settings. And then I can continue with the assembly of the actual pocket watch, which would be nice. All right, here we're just taking the screws off so I can remove and clean some settings. So these settings have cap jewels on them, which make them very difficult to deal with. So I punch them out from one side and then clean them in lighter fluid, which all evaporates nicely. And this is the way they did it in the old days with naphtha, which is effectively lighter fluid. So make sure they're dried off. They don't take much to dry off. And of course this is recorded at 7 times speed. So here I'm pushing it back in, and I'm pushing the cap jewel back in, but not until I oil it. And put that back together. It's all good. So there, I've got that in place now. And what I'm really doing the next one, or I'm actually putting the screws back so the cap jewel is nice and tight there. So it works nice and well. So take a little bit of pegwood. And this went through the cleaning machine, so it's actually really clean. I just like to peg it out a little bit to make sure it's perfect, so it's ready for the next operation. Some more oiling while things are exposed. And oil some of the gears in there, some of the pivot points. Just oiling away. That's what I do. So here we go. I'm just fitting the wheel in to see how that fits. I took it out again, and I put the escapement wheel in there. And I didn't realize something when I put that escapement wheel in. You'll see in a few seconds. So what I'm doing is stacking the wheels, and in this case I had to put the mainspring in first before I could put in the intermediate wheel, and then put in the center wheel after. And I also oiled the rim, or the edge of the shaft of the center wheel, as it's got the friction. Here I had a little bit of fun trying to figure out which direction this thing goes in, because the photo I took was with the upper plate, and it attached to the upper plate. So I actually thought it went in this way, and it didn't go in this way. So I didn't force it at all. I just sort of rested it in, had a look at it, and thought, okay, something's really screwy here. Why is this not going in? I took another look at my photos and realized the darn thing was actually upside down, so it wouldn't go that way if I tried. So you don't want to actually get a hammer out and try to push it in. So this is the wheel that's used for the winding power. So you set it, and then you set the winding power. You wind it all the way up, and you set the needle, and then the needle runs down. So I figured out which direction to put it in. So once I had it in there, everything was good. And I was able to put the plate back on. It went on pretty easy. That was nice. And then screwed in the screws for the plate. They went on nicely. No issue there at all. And then I put in the crown wheel first, or the winding wheel actually. Put that in there first. And then tighten that up. And this was righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Funny that's not always like that. And then I put in the actual mainspring. This is the ratchet wheel. So I put the ratchet wheel in and tightened that up. So everything was nicely tightened. I still didn't realize what problem I was going to run into here. So then I realized that, oh, there's a little tiny jewel setting on the inside of this plate, of all places to be. It's on the inside of the plate, and it pushes down on the jewel setting. So to get the jewel setting out, I actually tried to get it out like that, and I said, no, forget that. I'm going to put it back in again, and then I'm going to try a different way. And as you'll see, the different way didn't work, so I tried it the normal way. This is a super unique jewel setting right on this watch, on this finger here, in that the jewel goes in this little retaining ring goes over on top of the jewel. So we're just going to clean this jewel up and put it all back, but it's very unique. Again, I cleaned the jewel up in the setting as well, the jewel and the cap jewel up with lighter fluid. So there's the jewel. I'm putting oil in the cap jewel. It was weird because the cap jewel on this is actually friction fit and just sitting down on it. So there's nothing holding it. It's a gold jewel, so the jewel setting itself is probably 9-karat gold. So then I went ahead and started putting the watch back together again to see what this thing is going to actually, how the train would run and how it would operate properly. So now I've got the plate on, everything seems to work. So I did this and spun it, and it seemed to spin up, but then it stopped. I was wondering, why is this thing stopping? Played with it a bit more. It spun up, then it stopped. I was wondering why it was stopping. Then I noticed some wiggling in the bottom of the escapement wheel, and oh my God, there's just another problem with this watch. Alrighty then, this watch is hell. So the next problem here, I believe, that I never saw before, is that it looks as though the lower pivot for the escapement wheel is just not there. And I never saw that before, and that would explain how the pallet fork got broken back in the day. So there's no lower pivot, which is crazy. So let me take this apart here and have a look, and that's just another problem. So either I repivot it if I possibly can, or I have to call Dave Coatsworth and say, hey Dave, you wouldn't have an escapement wheel for this type of movement, would you? Because this movement is causing all kinds of issues. See, the pressure is off, the thing spins nicely, but there's no there's no lower pivot. I can see that, and you wouldn't know, but that would explain how the pallet fork pivots broke. Somehow that lower pivot broke, causing the pallet fork pivots to break, which is really friggin' odd. So what do we say here? Back at it. This watch is becoming a disaster. This is my new Franken watch. So to Grant, this thing was a big dog. So let me have a look up here. This is Grant's watch, and I gotta somehow get this escapement wheel out of here without removing everything else if I can. Yeah, there's like a little nubby, but there's no pivot. Yeah, if you look here closely, you'll see on the bottom here. Come on, there. See that? The pivot on the escapement wheel is gone. Gonzo. So, and I don't know if there's enough real estate there to repivot that, but this is going to cause me all kinds of problems. So I think I'm going to stop this video here, because I did not know I had a problem with the escapement wheel. It looks like it runs, but it doesn't. It's just the leftover of the pivot is a little oval, and because of that little oval, it seems to turn. So it looks like it's running, but it's really not. So I'm just going to move that aside, and I'm going to stop the video today, and I'm going to thank everybody for watching this video. This particular watch is a very high-end movement, but man, does it ever have problems. So anyway, I'm hoping maybe Dave has got an escapement wheel for this movement. If he doesn't, I have to try to repivot this, which is micro work. I'm not sure if I can actually repivot that. But it's now almost 4 o'clock. I'm tired, and I don't want to do any more watch work when I'm tired. So I've been at this for quite a bit of the day. So I'll catch you later. Any comments are appreciated.